This is Stories by Candlelight, and I'm your host, Ellie Whateley. Today I'm going to be reading some viewer-submitted stories, something I hope to do more of in the future. If you want to submit your own story, there will be details in the show notes, as well as at the end of the video. Of course, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to like and comment. But for now, turn down the lights and let me read you a story. I have seen white shadow people twice now, one about a year ago. I was walking to a friend's house at night. I had my headphones in so I couldn't hear any loud noise, but I felt really uneasy. It was like something was watching me, so I turned around and I saw a tall white figure standing at the end of the road. I just stared at it for a few seconds, but I couldn't figure out what it was, so I looked in front of me and turned around to look at it again, and it was gone. The second time, I was at home trying to sleep. That time, I heard a loud noise. Then I saw the white figure again, and I could make out a male form again. I just stared at it for a moment, not knowing what to think, until it disappeared shortly after. Honestly, I'm still skeptical it wasn't my imagination, but I've usually seen them after seeing what people call black shadow people, and it has been over the course of about 2 years. I've been having paranormal experiences my entire life, but it got worse when my family moved into a new house. The first experience I had I thought was just a nightmare. I had woken up in the middle of the night and felt like something was wrong, so I got up to turn the light on, and I heard a deep voice yell not to turn on the lights, and it threw me on my bed, and I just froze, unable to move for what felt like forever. It felt like something was watching me. I finally got enough courage to get up and turn the light on. I thought it was just a nightmare or something, but after I began hearing strange noises in the attic, which the door to the attic is in my closet. I was home alone one night with all the lights off watching a scary movie when something knocked all along the wall behind me, and I heard heavy footsteps run across the attic. I was too afraid to move. I've gotten used to it now, but small things still happen. Like stuff will move on its own, or I'll get the chills. It was after that I started seeing the black figures, and the white ones too. I live in Virginia, and I used to be a security guard for a company called A&A. About 5 years ago, I worked at an old coal mine that was shut down for the most part. Usually, I worked night shift patrol and just drove around checking on the stationary guards. One night, I had to leave the site to get gas for the patrol tracker. It was pretty late, and the mountain and the road leading to it was always pitch black due to the excessive amount of trees that cover either side of the roads. As I was driving down the road, my headlights shined on what was clearly a tall man draped in animal pelts standing on the side of the road near the mountain. We stared at each other as I drove by, and I just felt completely uneasy. He didn't seem to be wearing anything other than animal pelts, and when I came back from getting gas, he was gone. I asked the gate guard if he had seen anything, but he hadn't. I spent the rest of my shift driving non-stop in case he had snuck onto the mountain. I never saw him again and didn't think much about it, but a few weeks later, while I was on patrol again, I had stopped near the bottom of the mountain to check a building that was there. Checked all the locks like I was supposed to, but as I was walking back to the tracker, the mountain suddenly lost power and everything went pitch black. I couldn't see anything as I had turned the tracker off since there was a light near the building. I fumbled around a bit, but made it back to the tracker, got inside, and quickly turned it on. When I did, I saw a pack of coyotes in the headlights just glaring at me. I blared the horn, which didn't seem to bother them, but did get the gate guard's attention, who contacted me on my CB. It wasn't far, so I drove down to the guard shack and told James, the gate guard that day, what had happened, and he said he had seen them before and that they weren't afraid of anyone. I stayed in the shack till the power was fixed. Most terrifying moment of my life, honestly. A few seconds later, and I think I would have been dead. Coyotes are kind of common around here, but they didn't make any sounds and didn't seem afraid of the tracker's horn or even the tracker, since they didn't even budge when I drove toward them a little to turn around. Found out about skinwalkers a while after that and have to wonder if that could be what I saw, or if it was just a coincidence and a pack of sick coyotes or something. Me and my buddy Anthony were in my truck in his driveway, getting ready to drive into town and see what trouble we could get into. I remember looking into the distance, and up in the sky there was this really bright light, like a star. I remember there was a power line that went across the road. I asked Anthony what that light was, and he said it's just a star. I said, no, it's not. Stars don't move. And we watched it go from below the power line to above it. I don't know how it happened, but like 30 seconds later, the star went from being what seemed like light years away to this giant, I'm talking football field-sized black rectangle shape hovering over my truck like 100 feet up. The only way I can describe it was as if it were moving both fast and slow at the same time. I know that sounds confusing, but that's how it felt. It was hovering silently. The only sound you could hear was this quiet shh sound. I remember it was big, black, had a light or jet or something in each corner, and a bright light in the center. It must have hovered for a good 3 to 5 minutes, and we just stared at it. We weren't scared, more in awe of what we were seeing. I said, Anthony, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? He said, yeah, man, I see it too. I told him to grab his camera, and as he reached for his phone, it moved around his house and zipped off over the trees and disappeared. Shortly after, Anthony moved to Florida for about 6 to 8 months before he finally came back to West Virginia. I remember thinking maybe I just dreamed the situation, so I asked him when I saw him if he remembered that one night in his driveway, and without hesitation he replied, yeah man, that really happened. I've heard of circles, even triangles, but what I saw was distinctive. It was a flat rectangle shape, and it was huge. Have you ever heard of a rectangle-shaped UFO? Because I've done a ton of research and found very little myself. Anyway, that's my story. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening. I really enjoyed reading some of your stories and would love to see more. If you want to submit your own, send it to our email or Facebook with a title and how you want to be credited. If I start getting more of these, I'll do more videos like this one. And as always, keep believing, because we'll keep listening.